Live from the Warner Agricultural Pavilion at Casper College, this is Todd Jones, your instructor in Farm and Ranch Management. Excited to be here again today. We're talking about mission statements. And we left off how we were to formulate a particular mission statement for your businesses and some of the passions that you're going to plug into those statements, the importance of a mission statement. Just visited a little bit about actually living someone else's life. Is it your mission or is it somebody else's? And that's a hard question, but I think something that you need to ask yourself, and you certainly can be truthful with yourself on that one, and you'll know it if you're living somebody else's dream. And that's not altogether wrong, especially when you're building your skills and putting some tools in your toolbox so that you can implement and go after your dreams and your passions. If you plan to start your own business, being in business is just a phenomenal thing when you get things right. It can be a disaster when you don't. And like we described before, you know, the mission statement is the very first brick you put into the foundation of your business. And it may change a little bit, but it shouldn't change too much. We'll get into that in a little bit here. Some questions that I want to ask you as we go through and we're trying to flesh this thing out, called a mission statement out, are what's the number one regret of people when they're dying? And that seems like kind of a twist that I just threw in there to you, but it relates to your mission. You know, have you accomplished things? Will people remember you? Have you lived your life with integrity? And those things that are important. I'm kind of leaning back towards those values that we discussed earlier. The number one regret when you poll people, and I've read some polls that actually ask this certain thing of people that are in their last days, are that they regret it, that they didn't have the courage to live their life true to themselves, and they settled for the expectations of others. And that, you know, it seems kind of harsh, and you know, you at that point in your life, you just don't have time to turn it around on that one. So, you know, I like people, I like you all, but I like to see people get this mission statement right. I mean, generally, most of us get the chance to start over again if we have to, and things like that. But and we may, you know, we might get to a path in our lives that we say, hey, we're going down this one. We're taking the Y to the right or to the left. But those are the regrets, and it definitely has something to do with your mission statement. Here's an interesting question that I'd like to pose to you, is that, and some of these, I mean, you don't have to agree with me. You're going to answer them within the worksheet, possibly while you're listening to this. But how does a stating of your missions and goals free you? And that's something you ought to scratch your head on a little bit when it comes right down to it. The mission statements can set you free because they focus you. You know, it's a big burden when you get up in the morning and you have so much to do that you don't know where to start. But if you have a mission statement that you regularly dwell on, and you've memorized it and you can state it, then there becomes a whole bunch more clarity to the whole thing, to your purpose and what you're doing. I'll just throw one out there. Our mission statement, we ran a outdoor guiding service for many years, and it's a fairly simple one. It maybe needs to be tweaked, but it served our purpose fairly well, and I was happy with it once it kind of amalgamated into what it is now. But Paint Rock Adventures exists to teach, coach, and serve our guests so that they become better elk hunters. And those things they put our values, they put our passions, they told people what we did, and then we shared that with people so that they knew that that's what we were about. So that's another important ingredient to the whole thing. When if people came to us and they said, hey, why don't you, we'd like to hunt an antelope. I'd say, well, we don't hunt antelope because it's not part of our mission. It's beyond the scope of what we do, and our mission actually tells us what we do. I mean, it might be worth considering, but we had plenty on our plate with just that mission, and most of us do. The people that are unsuccessful generally just throw too wide a net, and at least that's what I've seen from my experience. How about this one? Should a mission statement be long or short, specific or general, and is it for today or the future? Let's just break that one down. I like the statement. I think Dave Ramsey said it actually. How do you eat an elephant? Well, an elephant's pretty big, so you better just eat him one bite at a time. And we got several bites there, so we'll just start. Should a mission statement be long or short? I kind of prefer a little shorter one because I'm not real good at memorizing things. And I'm a kind of simple-minded person as well. I'm not saying that you are. If you're fairly complex and you can memorize things, you may have a little longer mission statement. But brevity in this is fairly important for a couple of reasons. Not only for yourself, but you're going to be bringing people into your organization and surrounding yourself with them, and they need to know what your mission statement is and to understand it. So it should be fairly simple. It should put those boundaries and give the intent and focus to your team that it does to you. Of course, as the leader, you're going to be broadcasting the importance of that mission statement to them on a regular basis too. That's a really prime ingredient. One of the worst things you can do is spend a whole bunch of time writing a mission statement, or a little time, doesn't matter which, and come up with one, and then shelve it, put it in the file cabinet, put it under the stack of papers that builds on your desk, those kinds of things. Put it on your smart device, put it on your tablet that you're taking notes with, put it on the refrigerator, put it on the mirror until you have that thing memorized, and you have an intent and a focus with that mission statement. I guess I probably have gone on and on about all this kind of stuff, but it's so important. Next question that I think I've kind of answered it actually is that do people just wake up to be successful? And in the worksheet, I have you discuss that one. At least according to me, and I'm not always the aficionado on things like this, but my experiences and watching other people, as I said, I really like to watch other people and how they succeed and how they handle different situations, whether it's your employees or colleagues that are doing the same things, or somebody in even a business field that is unrelated to you. You can always learn these little techniques from them as well. So generally success doesn't come, it's not luck. It's a buildup of skills and tools that I like to say put in your toolbox. It takes time. incrementally putting all the resources together in order to have a successful business, financially, the right people, and the actual assets of the business. And it just takes some time. You may be the exception, but you're probably talking about those that are successful that just luck into it. It being probably not even 1 in 1,000 that actually do that. It just takes a lot of time, discipline. I also like to add, hard-headedness, and those kinds of things. So it just takes some time. Should a mission statement be long or short? We already answered that one. Specific or general? That's what we were working on. Fairly specific, but room to grow. How's that sound? Especially when you're starting out. General, if you like we discussed before, isn't all that good because it doesn't give you much for boundaries. If you are highly specific, then it can confine you too much. So there is maybe a little bit of a danger there, but we do need those, typically, those boundaries and focus within the mission statement. Is it for today or the future? Well, it's definitely for the future. Why would you even build it or state it if we didn't think it was for the future? And you should start living by it and practicing it now, so the present as well. Here's another question. How about, should you change your mission statement? Some of you are 18, 19, 20, 21, maybe early in your, you haven't started your professional careers, or you're just getting started. Some of you are well into that and have a formulated, at least in your head, passions, values, all those kinds of things. And so here's what I like to say when I'm asked that kind of question is that, when you're in your formative years, you're just getting started, it can change, and it can change drastically. But it'll give you at least a direction to go in. When you get a little older, and maybe you younger people can say, well, you'll coot, you get set in your ways, and that sort of thing. Well, that's a reality, actually. When you get a little older, it probably, with most people, is not going to change a whole lot, but it can be tweaked. It should be revisited, from time to time, so that you can take a look at it and see if it really applies to you. And hey, listen, if you do the things I've asked you to do, memorize it, have it written all over everything you own, then that's not going to be a problem. You're going to recognize if there is a problem with your mission statement and change it. It probably, unless it's criminal in nature, your mission statement, that is, you're probably not going to turn 180 whether you're young or older. So anyway, that's a little bit of a discussion on that. One of the greatest things about a mission statement that I like, and we've kind of hinted on it from our earlier discussions, is that it just gives you the ability to say no. It gives you, which is a powerful thing in and itself. If people ask you to provide goods and services that you're not familiar with, you're not adept at, you don't have the skills, you don't have the resources and the things in place, then you can say no. It doesn't mean that you don't consider it in the future if there's lots of demand, high margin, it's part of your values, it's part of your passions and that sort of thing. And it may fit within the scope of your mission statement, but it certainly gives you a very, very powerful thing that says, nope, but I know, in our business, and I referred earlier that we were in the outdoor guiding business, which is a substantial amount of our business besides just the farm and ranch. But we referred people to better people than what we could provide that service. People that hunted antelope, for instance, that had a guest ranch that could had all kinds of summer activities that people could partake in, things like that. So, I mean, and that's just a feather in your cap when you can refer on both sides a colleague or a fellow, person in that business, and then you serve that customer as well, because that's so important that they might consider coming back with you and doing something that you're skilled at and have the resources in place to perform. Now, the last part of this assignment is actually sitting down and writing out your personal mission statement and your business mission statement. I would say if you're in this class, and especially if you're interested in ag business or farming and ranching specifically, you're going to be able to provide a mission statement, a business mission statement, at least get off the ground with one. I would suggest that you formulate your personal mission statement first, because that's going to be an ingrained part of the business mission statement. It's an important component of it. Your values and passions may be wrapped up in your personal mission statement. Some of the things that I can certainly suggest to you that, if faith is a huge part of your life, your personal mission statement is going to include something about faith. It may have something to do with the specific, your passion. Maybe it's the improvement of range, especially in your region of the country. It may have something to do with family. More than likely will if you have a family, in close proximity, and like many of us in ag do. What I would suggest when I ask you to do this is to write down and formulate, doesn't have to be perfect, your personal mission statement first. And your personal mission statement doesn't actually say, I exist, or I exist to blank. It would start with something other than that, typically. It is going to be yours. I want you to own it and that sort of thing. I'll leave you with our business mission statement. And again, it's short, it's concise, it's somewhat broad, but it gives me, or has given our business, some focus. Paint Rock Adventures exists to teach, coach, and serve our guests so that they become better elk hunters. So we know for sure elk hunting is part of that business. We're a guiding, we have values that more than just going out and killing something. We want to teach people, we want to coach them, and especially we want to serve. And when you put those kinds of things together in one vision and a mission statement like that and live by it, I'll tell you, those are things that have driven the success that we've been able to find. And I'm saying that in a very humble way. But anyway, hopefully you've gotten something from this podcast. We'll visit some more. If you have any questions, call me at the office, call me on my cell phone, email me, text me, however you can get a hold of me. I always enjoy visiting with you. Okay? I bid you adieu.